right? So we're talking about high vibrational energy here, right, Pianpian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, there's quite a bit of discussion recently on kind of reducing stress and all those. I personally have found it helpful to just do like a quick run, sprint in the morning around here. Curious, like what other ways have you found it useful for yourself to
To
have?
raise my energy.
Yeah.
Um, so um, so I have a journal where I record all the positive things that have happened to me throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just little things that you notice, just a quick record. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing, right? I mean, I like to note what happened that was positive. And of course, where the focus goes, energy flows, right? So of course I focus on the positive, so it goes onto the positive. I try to think about people, the beginning of the day that I'm going to be interacting with, and remembering the positive things about them. I mean, not all of the conversations that I have are easy. I mean, being in the human capital profession for a very long time, I mean, I'm sure you can only imagine, right? So I get a lot of complaints, a lot of feedback from people. But if I were to go into that conversation feeling negative, the conversation would only go south. The whole point is that you're able to actively listen to your people and being able to turn their energy right into, or their being, their vibration into a positive. So after talking to you, they feel confident, they feel productive, they feel inspired, and they feel like they can be moving forward. But for me, the day starts with imagining the people I'm going to be interacting with in a positive light, and imagining them, or remembering rather, them from a positive perspective. What have they done well? Like what was my positive interaction? And this is exactly where my like positivity journal really helps, right? It's the kind of a thing, right, where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this, like I wrote this down. So like it didn't just come and pass. I recorded it, and by writing it down, my brain obviously absorbs that, records it. It's a lot easier to come back to it and remember it later on, as something that's a positive event that happened, right? And heck, if I need to, I mean, I just look at my positivity journal, right? And I'm sure that, and I hear this quite a bit. It's like, well, there's kind of a bit of a stigma still with keeping journals, although a lot of people do this. I mean, I think that I do find that some a little bit more pragmatic folks don't really like doing that, right? But I think for me, this has actually made quite a difference. It's helped me really focus on the positives in my life, and come into my audience with positive vibration and excitement.
Yeah, that's great. I think the positive journal is related to the gratefulness journal.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but it's a bit of a twist. So I do the positivity notes as I go along. I do like to write down what am I grateful for, usually at the end of the day, kind of just summarizing all the positive things so I don't forget them. Right. So when you're looking at the whole experience, it's the gratitude journal that you write down, I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z. But with the little things, I actually have like little notes, like this, where I just jot down what went right, like what was really great, so and then I keep them. So they're kind of my like flashcards in a way. But yeah, that's what I do. I think walking is absolutely helpful. I mean, obviously you want to raise your general energy. I mean, get enough sleep. I mean, get good nutrition. I mean, and go for exercise. I know this is something that, I mean, it sounds very obvious. Everybody knows it, but hardly anybody really practices it. So I certainly would want for you to re-explore the benefits of it, right? So, but going into these things with mindfulness, right, versus like I was just taking up time, right? If you're actually within your body, within your mind and your soul, so to speak, right? Your emotions, right? If you're within your in alignment internally, I think these exercises are a lot more pleasurable, right? Because you're actually having a whole body experience from that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And kind of applying these to building relationship, I think is super helpful.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're coming in with a positive intent, right, I think the relationship is bound for success, right? And so, of course, this is where, of course, empathy comes into play, right? And, you know, is your ability to perceive the other person's story in a way, right? Is you know, kind of the way I see empathy, right? It's a state of mind, right, where you're able to relate to one's general experience in life, right? Is something that will help you with this relationship building. I mean, ultimately, in order to experience empathy and truly experience empathy, you kind of have to be very centered within yourself. And this is where mindfulness comes in. I think, though, empathy and mindfulness kind of go hand in hand, honestly. I don't think you can have one without the other, really. I think, honestly, empathy is really kind of a result of mindfulness.
Right. Yeah. I think, yeah, like when we are centered, there's always more.
When we're centered, we're able to see a lot more, because when we're centered and we're not um, we're not scattered in various external reactors for us, and we're able to see and perceive a lot more than if we weren't.
Right. Yeah.